everybody, what's happening? It's your boy KV coming at you. Welcome, welcome. Got a good friend of mine here this evening, Mr. Mike Zito. But as always, we're going to go ahead and start things off with a little tune here. Let's start here. She is joy, she is pain, she's a candle through the rain. She's the heaven, she's the sea, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like a question with no answer, she's a mystery. She's satisfaction, ooh, she's desire. She's an angel, flying with fire, yeah. She's a whisper, she's a scream, yeah. I try to understand, yeah. She's a mystery. A smarter man would turn and run before my world has come undone, yeah. Oh, I dance on the edge till I lose control. She has my heart, yeah. She wants my soul. Yes, she does. She is boldness. She is fear. She's a smile through her tears. She is truth where now she's fantasy, yeah. There's no explanation, no, no, no. She's a mystery, like a question with no answer, no, no. She's a mystery, hey! She's a mystery. Oh, Lord, no. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get Mike Zito up here. Hey, buddy.
Fantastic.
Ah, shucky ducky now.
There was that one part that was so good.
That one, the ending?
Well, I don't remember exactly the part.
Man,
it was really good.
I love that little quip of, man, I love your songs, man. Especially
Thank you.
The endings.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the best part, right? I love when it's over.
Yeah, man, that's the best. How are you, dude? What's going on with you?
I'm good. You can see I don't clean up well. So luckily I'm fat enough to block most. That's what my life looks like. I have tons of kids. So everything's just always a mess. Oh, and then look, hold on. Watch my finger. Let's see. There's a picture of me and Joe Bonamassa,
oh, wow.
Young and chubby. And there's a picture of Roy Buchanan.
That'll work too, man.
Right
Fantastic.
There.
That's
anyway.
Great.
I'm good, Ken. Thank you. We're hanging in there, and all is well. How about you?
Same, man. It's just, a lot of hanging in there, a lot of staying quite vigilant.
Yeah,
not quite as finely coiffed as you, sir. Bad hair day. Thus the hat.
What's the temperature where you're at,
dude? It's not fun. We had one day where it turned out to be 80 degrees. that was it, and it's still back in the 40s. So we're like, it's still chilly, man. Yeah, not so fun. Not so
Yeah, that
not
is
so
that.
not
But
so
oh well, good
spring.
luck.
Not so yeah, exactly. So it is what it is,
The
man.
last time I was there and saw you in Minneapolis, it was 14 or 15 below zero.
Yes, you were playing at the Hook and Ladder, and we. What was awesome was to see how many people showed up because they all braved a snowstorm like I did.
Yeah,
And
it
yeah,
was a pretty good crowd considering, and I mean
exactly.
just the coldest of cold. So
Yes, yes. Like it was just that Minnesota weather. Why I moved out here, I'm still trying to figure it out. My
oh,
last
it's great
name,
music, great musicians, all
great
that,
music,
and
man.
it is beautiful
I got
for
a
about
permanent.
6 weeks.
suntan here, Mr. Zito. I got a permanent suntan, and my last name ends with an E and an Z. This shit don't work. So, yeah, it's cold, man, and I'm still. It's one of those things I tell people. It's like, well, if it's not winter, then it's beautiful out here, and it is.
Yeah,
It's
right.
gorgeous. It's just the unfortunate side is winter usually lasts about 6, 7 months out of the year.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
it's such a
Hang
drag,
in there.
man. Yeah, I'm doing my best, man. You have been quite busy. You're always busy though, man. You got so much going on all
Oh,
the time. And it's amazing because like you set the bar so high for everybody else, but it's also it's also great to see how you do what you do, and it's always really good. It's always
well, thanks.
really
That means a
good.
lot. I don't know. I guess I don't realize that people are always like, "Oh, you're always so busy." I guess I don't think about it any other way because we're just always working and trying to do work and trying to. Again, I got 5 kids, married, and I have responsibilities, and we have. My wife teaches school. We own a record label. We make records, tour when there's not a coronavirus. We
Right.
I mean, we're working and doing the deal. So the pandemic to me was kind of like challenging. Okay, well, let's what do we got to do, or how do we do this, or what can we do, and just try to jump in with both feet and see what we can do to be creative or to be supportive or helpful or
Right, right,
financially. Actually, it seemed like after the first couple months, it was like, okay, I think it's going to be all right.
right,
But I
right.
don't know if it was like that for everybody. But I think because I jumped in and we were like, I could see that there were going to be things we could do. You
Right,
know,
right. And I mean, it's awesome because you have so many irons in the fire at any given time. But I remember, specifically with you when this whole thing started, you were overseas, is that right? And then you came
yeah,
home and like all hell kind of broke loose.
yeah,
What's it been like for you from that moment to now? Like I mean that's like because you
yeah,
you actually got it, didn't you? Is that right?
yeah. A few months back. Well, going back to where it started, like everybody, that's when it was weird. It's not weird anymore.
Right. It's
And,
amazing
and
how quick
really,
things become like normal.
yeah, by the
Yeah.
summer, it was like, okay, it just kind of went in waves of kind of defeat. Like you go, oh, okay, I think I got it. I figured it out. No, defeat, step forward again. So the thing in Europe, we were on our regular tour and that we do once a year. It's a nice long tour. Played about 3 shows and we kept thinking, I kept thinking, man, come on, it's not going to be that bad, is it? Like,
Right.
and I was there with other bands. There were other bands over there. Samantha Fish was we were all in Germany, and we talked, and then her manager called and said, "Yeah, you got to go." And I was like, "No, come on, it's not going to be that bad." And then we waited just a couple more days, and then they got a call and they canceled like 20 shows
Oh my God.
in a couple hours,
Right.
and they were getting ready to shut Germany down. And that's when I was like, oh, yeah, we need to go. Like, then all of a sudden, it was like, okay, we have to go. But it all worked out. I mean, we were able to, I mean, we just flew home. When we came in, it was after the president's, you got to be in by Friday at midnight. We got in on like Sunday. And all they told us was you need to go home and quarantine for 14 days. And I mean, look, this was March 12th or something. Like nobody had ever quarantined. That wasn't a thing. So it was weird. Like that was when it was weird. Like we came home and I stayed in this little studio of mine in the backyard and I didn't go outside and I didn't go around my kids and I wasn't sick but we didn't know, like we didn't know anything. Right. So we were following the rules. And the only thing I remember was weird was I didn't leave the house for probably a month. I mean, we had food brought in and like a lot of people. And maybe like after a month, I went to the bank to make an ATM deposit or something. And I went out and of course, I live in Southeast Texas and it's just different here, I mean, man, it was just everybody was out doing all the regular stuff. And it was like a scene out of one of the movies. I was like, what have I been doing? Like what's going on? Right. Is this really going on? Like, cause I've been hiding in my house and everybody was out, going to work and going to the store. And, it really didn't touch my area well into the fall. Wow. And then in December in my area, in January, it was when it was really bad. Right. That's when it got where a lot of people died. Everybody knew someone who died. In January, my wife and I got it. After all, I went out all year and did different things last year and got on a plane several times and stayed in hotels and went and played some gigs and wore masks and washed my hands and did all of that and never got it. And then we got it from we think we got it from a friend who's a nurse who she was vaccinated, but somebody in the office got it. And then she talked to my wife for a second and they had masks on. But then my wife got it, and it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it wasn't no fun. I mean, right, not at all.
I mean, so now though, you've got a new record out because of the quarantine.
Well,
in a sense,
yeah, that was a weird thing.
But it's also turning, it's making lemonade out of lemons at that point in time.
It was really just out of survival. Because I was sitting in the hotel in Berlin with my band and there was 4 of us and 2 of the guys, I'm their job. Like I'm their Walmart or wherever you want to call it. And we were going home completely empty handed. I mean, and this is a chance where they actually make decent money on a tour where we do 30 shows. Right. So they were like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And I said, well, I don't know. We'll think of something. And then I just thought, well, we're all going to have to go home. We're all going to have to quarantine for 14 days. Wouldn't it be a challenge to try to make and write, record, produce, and release a record in the amount of time of 14 days? And we're not together. And everybody has to go home and figure out how they could record, especially the drummer who had no setup or anything. Right. In North Dakota, he just had drums set up in his basement and a couple of cheap microphones. I was like, what if we could do this? Like, wouldn't that be interesting? And we'll just see if the fans we'll give it away for free if they want to contribute. And the fans came through and contributed and everybody in the band got to, bring some money in and, which was super helpful because we didn't know if we were going to be off for a month or, 2 months or a week or, we didn't realize we'd be off for a year.
Right.
So it was super helpful. And then that helped spur Paying the Blues Forward that Nick Moss helped me with. We kind of kept the ball rolling because people just kept giving money. It was like, hey, hold on. We don't need all this money. Maybe we can help other musicians. And that all seems so long ago because eventually more help arrived. Right. More help arrived in many different ways. And So we made a record, and I'm proud of it. We didn't really release it like a record. It was kind of like, it was interesting. You could never really do that again.
Right, exactly.
It's an interesting thing. I'll always think, oh, that's cool. We kind of did something, And I remember a lot of musicians were like, what are you doing? It's like, I don't know. I don't have anything else to do. Like, let's make a record and write some songs. Like, I mean,
right.
You get in a writing slump and think, I don't know what the hell to write about. I mean, how many more times am I supposed to tell you how happy I am to be sober? Like, it's like a Chris Rock joke would be like, you spend so much time together and you go, why don't you go out and do something and come back and tell me about it? So then like something happened. It was like, hey, we could make a record and have something, to talk about. So, it's interesting.
Well, dude, I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and I'll tell you,
thank you
about that for sure, and just how your journey has been really inspiring and influential to me personally. We'll get into that, but first, would you mind doing a tune for us here?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
I will.
That one button, like we were talking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't tell them all my secrets, man.
Technology. Yes, this is Mike Zito. What do you call it? This is him being overdubbed. Not really. No. This is live, baby. This is live.
This is live.
All right, everybody. This is Mike Zito. Check it out.
Thank you, Ken. This is called. This is off of the Quarantine Blues album that we recorded. And ironically, I wrote this song. I wrote this hook before we ever had a pandemic. I just thought it was kind of cool. And when I came home, I thought, well, there you go. It's called Don't Let the World Get You Down. Don't let the world get you down. Don't let the world get you down. Even when it's crashing all around, don't let the world get you down. It's times like these that come and go. Times like these just seem slow. This too will pass, that's what they say. I got a feeling it's not today. It's not today. Don't let the world get you down. Don't let the world get you down. Even when it's crashing all around, don't let the world get you down. It's getting weird, almost surreal. You wake up again and you have to deal. Sometimes the darkness outshines the light. I know that flame, well, it's worth the fight. We'll have to fight. Don't let the world get you down. Don't let the world get you down. And when it's over and it all goes back again, well, we remember how we got through. How we got through. Don't let the world get you down. Don't let the world get you down. Even when it's crashing all around. Don't let the world get you down.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
There he is. There he is. Yes.
Okay.
I love it, man. You're one of those guys who really who
Thinks fondly of himself.
yes. No, you have such a strong sense of melody with your stuff, man.
Well, thanks. I
And
appreciate
I
that.
think that's one of those big reasons why I was really drawn towards your music. Now, the way that I found you or discovered you was a buddy of mine named Alex Mariel. Alex Mariel is a fantastic guitar player and singer, and he does the thing, man. And he's been one of my best friends for many years. And he was living in New Mexico, and I'm out here in the tundra. And he came by and he visited me, and he had this stash of CDs that somebody just gave him, and it was just taking up a bunch of room in his truck because he had driven up, And he's like, dude, I've been listening to a lot of this stuff, on the way. It's just kind of taking up room right now because it's CDs. It's not even like yeah. So he hands me the stash of CDs, and there's some killer stuff with like Walter Trout in there, or whatever. But I come across this one CD called Today, and I listened to it and was just floored, man, because it was like it had the goodness as far as like I was concerned, man. You had the cool guitars and you had the cool tones and the lyrics were killer and the playing was killer, and it was just this great blues with hints of rock and even Americana, if you will. And then you did Little Red Corvette, which was amazing, especially for a guy like me who's just borderline obsessed with Prince. So yeah. So man, I am floored with this record, and I was like, man, I listened to it through and through so much. And I remember we ended up going out on tour, and we were, oh man, it was the Little Bear Saloon in Evergreen, Colorado.
Okay, all the bras.
Yeah. Yes. So what was crazy is we did this 2-night stand over there, and on the stage I found your business card. And it was just like this weird,
and that is old.
So it was just like this weird like series of events, and I'm like, oh whoa, I've been listening to this guy, and he just played here, and I'm talking to whoever it was that was booking or was the manager or whatever, and I'm like, do you know this guy? He's like, oh yeah, man, he played here just last night, the night before we were there.
Great.
So it was crazy. I'm like, dude, like, how was it? How was the show? He's like, oh, Mike's killer, That was it. And then I started trying to learn a bit more about you, and man, you've had yourself quite the journey, man. in music, in life, I mean, you've been very, very vocal about being sober.
Sure.
It's 6 years for me that I haven't touched a drop of alcohol, and I thank you, honestly, because I'll tell you why.
Thank you.
You're showing me that it can be done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because and I know that it's so easy to get whatever it is that you want, especially out playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
there's a I appreciate that.
Yeah, man,
for sure, and it certainly can be done. But it was shown to me, also by other people. Walter Trout, in particular,
yes,
big proponent of I'm sober, you're a mess, something's wrong with you. You can't. I've been playing with him and opening up for him. This was all, this is 25 years ago or something. And then he was like, you can't play with me anymore. Like there's obviously you're on drugs. There's something wrong with you. You're a mess, and I can't let you play with me anymore. But if you get your life together, or you get sober or whatever, man, I will support you 100%, and blah blah blah. And I remember, I didn't go get sober, but I remember like, wow, that's a bummer. Like, so I can't play with him more. Like I really was so into what he was doing. He was showing me. He was trying to get me record deals, back in the '90s, and helping me do all this stuff. And but I was a mess at the time. But I remember when I got sober, he's like one of the first. Once I finally really got a footing, like he's one of the first people I contacted when I started thinking about music again.
Right.
Was getting his number and calling him, and him crying on the phone and telling me, man, you call me anytime, night or day, blah blah blah. But I know what you mean, because I remember thinking once I was getting sober, I thought, well, I won't be able to play music anymore. So, but that's all right. I just won't play music because I'm going to either die or not. So I'll just get sober. And then with that frame of mind, seeing that, well, Walter's playing and he's sober, and he's been playing sober for a long time. And then starting to get this idea from people like, no, you could go do this. You're just going for a different reason.
Yes.
Now you're not going to a bar, you're going to work.
Yes.
And you're just going to go to work and come home. And most people don't go to work and do drugs and drink.
Right.
Go to work. And it was like, oh yeah, okay, so I'll just go to work. I'll just go to work and I'll just go focus on my music. Like that was my reason. Like I need to go there and I'll do my job and then I'll come home. And like it's that simple. Like, okay, all right, I get it. And then I thought, oh wow, I think you can make money playing music if you drink and do all the drugs. That was the only thing I thought. I never thought, oh hey, maybe you can be famous or whatever. It was like, wow, you could make a living doing this if you just brought the money home and paid your bills and showed up on time and did a good job and didn't sell your guitar after the gig or steal from the band or, all the other crazy stuff I'd done. So, I turned 50 last year, and I have a little over 16 years of sobriety, which I'm thankful for.
Indeed.
Now, somebody had said something like, man, you're always busy, blah, blah, but you always seem like you're just rolling along, and I think, well, I've been through everything. I've already been through a whole bunch of crap. And what else is there? It's pretty, at this point, I'm just kind of rolling along, just trying to, there's really no new punches at all. So I'm just trying to do a good job, keep practicing my instrument, stay sober, be a good dad, trying to get better at music, or write songs and,
Man.
But I appreciate your story, man. That's cool. It means a lot. That's a special record. And it was a special record for me. And what I've learned is a special record for a lot of people that had nothing to do with me, and the way it was made and the way the contract was signed and everything is all of another realm, like spiritual, that I really didn't have much to do with. I was just kind of going along with it all, but I'm proud of it. And I think about it, and it's like we made that 15 years ago. We recorded that in 2007. Gosh. So 14 and a half years ago, somewhere in there.
Right.
David produced that. Tony Bronigal played drums. Hutch Hutchinson played bass. Ben Montench from the Heartbreakers played keyboards.
Yeah.
So I went from the last record I made in my friend's backyard in his garage. And then I went to North Hollywood and recorded with those yahoos.
Right, exactly. And
that's a life-changing experience,
The experience, and then there's the music that kind of spoke for itself, man. It was a fantastic record. It's probably still my favorite record of yours, and I love your stuff, man.
Thanks. And it's a great record. I love that record. I learned after that record, fans sometimes want to know, how come, like you get a record of somebody or an artist, we all do this, and you go, oh, wow, I really like that. Like you hear this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember I listened to Van Halen, and then all of a sudden they had Sammy Hagar.
Right.
Then I heard 5150 and I was like, this is weird. This doesn't sound right, because you get used to something. But what fans don't realize is you can only make a record once.
Right.
I mean, you make the record, and there's so much more than just the style of maybe your guitar playing or your songwriting or your voice, that maybe that's changing because you're changing.
Right.
But also, if the record is any good, there's some kind of magic that takes place, and then that doesn't happen again. And then maybe if you're lucky, something else happens again.
Yeah.
And you get some other thing. So after making 16, 17 records, they're not all like that record.
Right. I mean, I think it was brought to me that like a record is essentially like an audio snapshot.
Right.
That's what you sounded like that day. And that's what
it's a
kind of came
capture. It's a moment in time. But even so, it's the people you're around, where you're at. There's so many things. And then when people go, oh, the next one, how come it doesn't sound like the last one? Well, it's different people in a different place. And
exactly.
It's a year or two later, and I don't know. Maybe we were tired, or I didn't feel good, or I was feeling, I don't know. You just don't ever know. You just try to do your best.
Yes.
But I do realize people would love for there to just be the same thing over and over. And it's hard to do that. It's almost impossible.
I agree. But again, with you, what's awesome is you weren't afraid to grow. I mean, everybody grows. Everybody has to, or grow in whatever direction they're going in. But I mean, as an artist, and you you didn't have, I don't want to say limitations, but like you just kind of you were you throughout the whole thing, and still are, which again is very inspiring, because I mean you're blazing your own trail, man. Yeah, your records don't sound the same. Doesn't mean that they're not good. They're fantastic, and it's just part of this. It's just all part of this journey.
Process. Yeah,
man, and it's great because it's like, I think that tells more about you as not just an artist, but as a person. This is art imitating life. This is you growing. This is you being who you are.
I don't really know how to do anything else, for one, and you can't, like I said, you can only tell these stories one time. So you go to make your first record, or you're going to make your first big record, and you've got something like you newly sober or whatever, and then you share this story in this particular way, and then you can only do it so many times.
Right.
You can't just keep doing it over and over. And I got to a certain point after the Gone to Texas album where it was like, all right, so I've literally gone back and told chapters of my life.
Yes.
And that's it. Like, what are you going to do now? And so I've been guilty of, not everything is as deep as maybe something else was.
Sure.
Sometimes it's this is what I got right now. And more than anything, what I'm looking for is for it to be honest. I'm the one that's going to have to sing and play this music, and I'm going to have to stand up there on stage and sing these words. And I can tell you the songs where, I wish I would have worked on that song a little more, because they're kind of corny, because I got to sing them, and then I'm singing them, and I'm kind of mush mouthing them because, like, I wish that was better, And
Right.
So now I realize as we go forward, like, hey, you got to sing this. Like, you're the one that's going to do this, and you got to get behind it. So what are we getting behind? What are you feeling strong about? Or what are you, even if it's a silly, fun song, what You got to mean it. You got to make it happen. So I was never good at doing cover. I was never good in a cover band. I don't know how to play music correctly. I don't know how to play music or guitar the way you're supposed to. Right. So anytime I would audition for, say, a cover band, they wouldn't hire me, or they would hire me and tell me, you need to play these songs like the record. And I go, I don't know how to do that. So then I would just do what I do. And then they didn't like that. So then I thought, okay, I'll just do my own band.
Yeah.
We'll just play the songs the way I want to play them, mostly because I don't know how to do it.
Dude, this is, I mean, it's frightening hearing that, because it sounds like you're talking about my life.
I think a lot of people are like that. And there's a weird, especially if you don't ever write original music, then that can be, I think, I mean, I don't know what that's like. That could be weird. But doing original music just always seemed most appropriate to me, because I thought, well, I don't know how to do this, so I'll just write my own songs. Then no one can tell me, hey, you're not playing that right.
Right.
As I've gotten older, I realize anybody that tells me I'm not playing that right can kind of kiss my ass. I don't really care, because I realize now, there is no right or wrong. You just have an issue. I don't have an issue that it's played this way. You're just one of those.
You're making it an issue.
Yeah, yeah. And so for people to get past that point as an artist, I don't know. But I'm very comfortable with who I am today and the way I do things, because I realize I don't have any other way to do it. So I've already beat my head. I spent my years thinking, I wish I sounded like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Well, no one sounds like Stevie Ray Vaughan. No. Except Stevie Ray Vaughan. Right. And people would come out, and I have a new guitar and a new amp every gig, and they go, well, man, just sounds like you.
Right.
I go, really?
Yeah.
Come on, this is the same amp that so-and-so used on this record. It doesn't sound like that? No. God,
it's so funny that you say that, because
MIKE ZITO, and I thought, what a curse.
Yeah. Well, dude, I mean, it's funny you say that recently, and I'm looking at this thing right now. This is the old Vertex, what is it, Vertex Distortion, whatever, right? You're like, you probably had the same one. Yeah, look, twins. I got this, no joke, because I was digging big time on what Allie Venable was playing. Like her tones,
she gets great tones out of it.
Her tones on the new record were fantastic. And she's like, yeah, man, it's this. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to check that out, because I'm looking for a bit more of a higher gain pedal, go mess around. I couldn't get it to sound, remotely close to what I wanted it to sound like at all. And you start realizing, it's in, it's in the fingers, it's in the art, it's in,
Sure.
Yeah.
And everybody's got a sound in their head.
Right.
And what I realized eventually was try to stop chasing sounding like someone else. We're all going to have a little bit of that. You're listening to music, and start chasing just what do I sound like? What, rather than focusing on, I don't sound like this. Okay, this is what I sound like. So when does it sound good? And when is it comfortable? What do the people seem to like?
Right.
When I do, what I do. I'm still, I'm going to say, I'm very comfortable doing what I do. But like anybody, I might have a night where I'm like, whatever. That didn't sound very good. And then other nights I might think, oh, wow, whatever, like it's almost there. Like we're almost hitting it, But I read the B.B. King book 3 times, and he said he never, in all of his entire life of playing guitar, he never achieved the sound of the guitar he had in his head.
Crazy.
So I assume,
amazing to me.
if trying to be like B.B. King,
right?
That's how you should go to the grave. Never quite there. Trying to always, he had this sound. He thought that it would sound like a steel drum, a singing steel drum, I think is what his words were. Wow. And he just said he never could get it. And of course, we're all walking around like, oh, wow, that's like the best tone ever.
Right.
Ever.
And, and he's just like, almost.
Yeah, it's not there. It's not there. No, I appreciate all your kind words, Ken. I'm a fan too. I'm trying to remember when we met, but it's been a while for sure.
I'll tell you about it. Actually, I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a tune.
Yeah.
We'll come back. We'll talk some more.
Okay.
And yeah, for sure. Everybody, this is Mike Zito, man. I am thrilled to have him on here. Look at that. That's the guy right there. I'm gonna do a tune here. I'm gonna do a tune here, and we'll get back to chatting with Mike. Man, this is awesome. Alrighty. It's alright tonight, alone again. Lately, nothing goes as planned. Just leave me behind. When your world stops turning, that bridges burn, my voice inside your head. The tears will fall when you remember all I've ever done and said. What could have been a happy ending? Love is give and take. Won't take no more. I'm the one that got away. Okay, today I start brand new. Old dreams, old seeds, old tried and true. I'm leaving behind. When your world stops turning, our bridges burn, my voice inside your head. When you look into his eyes, I hope that you will see me there. I don't wanna be a memory or promise that you break. I promise I'm the one that got away. Yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. It's alright tonight, alone again. When your world stops turning, our bridges burn, my voice inside your head. The tears will fall when you remember all I've ever done and said. I don't wanna be a memory or promise that you break. Well, I'm something that you've never known, no, never will again. Didn't have to be the one that got away. I'm the one that got away. Oh yeah, oh yeah. There we go. Let's get back to Mr. Zito here.
Nice tune. I like it, man. That's great.
Thank you, brother. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wrote that with a buddy of mine named John O'Manson.
Nice.
Yeah, very, very fun. Very, very fun.
Man, you know, you mentioned melody earlier, and you know, man, I think if it doesn't, if there's not some kind of melody, I don't know what we're doing.
Right.
You know, I mean, I enjoy jamming and doing whatever, but I realized early on that if I had a good song, it went a lot further. And I think because my mom and dad were older, my dad was born in 1922, so he was like almost 50 when I was born. We were really far apart, and he listened to this. All he listened to is big band music. He was a World War II guy, and he listened to all this big band, on these singers. And so when I was a kid, that's all I heard was all this kind of singy. And he would always say, now that's music. Hear that? That guy's singing. That's music. And then I would put on Kiss Alive too, and he'd go, oh my God, what the hell is that? That is not music. Turn that off now.
What the hell did he just say?
Put on Dean Martin again. That's music. You hear that?
Everybody's got rock and roll pneumonia? What is
Just,
that?
he might have been, not to not Kiss, he might have been right.
Right.
He might have been right.
Right.
And
Oh,
so I'm thankful for that. It always is more fun if the song is melodic, and then there's something to work with. When I play guitar, I always think, wow, you just play the song.
Mhm.
You can just like play the melody of the song, and you have all these things you can do, that are beyond just, oh, I have to play guitar really fast and a bunch of notes. I hope it works out.
Right. Well, I mean, it's
I
funny.
hope I can play tonight,
Right. Well, I mean, you produce records and I produce records, and every artist that I've ever worked with, it seems like I always tell them song is king.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
melody makes the world go round. Now put that together.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely. And if you're a singer that plays guitar, and hopefully, you have a good voice, like you have a great voice.
Thank you.
That's always more important than the guitar playing.
Man.
Because people want to hear singers.
Yes.
People like singers more than guitar players.
See, now this is an interesting, I'm skeletons coming out of the closet. For those of you that don't know, here it is. Now, my favorite band in the world is Journey.
Yeah.
By far. And what I love about them is the fact that you got this amazing singer, right? It's Sam Cooke on steroids, and then you got, Neil's guitar. You take Neil's guitar out of there, and it's not Journey anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So he approaches it as almost a second voice.
Yeah.
And I find that amazing too, because not only is he finding melody, he's making things melodic, and of course he can learn, but it's like just the combination, the way that they were able to bring two voices to completely.
Oh, they had all aspects. And so did a B.B. King. You make the perfect analogy. He's got his voice.
Yes.
And Lucille is his backup voice.
Yes.
But his voice is always the forefront.
Yes. Yes.
Even though the guitar, we're into the guitar playing because we're into guitar playing. His voice is the forefront, and then he follows it up with, he sings the line. He's not even playing chords.
No.
He says, the thrill is gone.
Right.
Like,
just,
and then here's the other.
And that might even be too many chords. There are too many notes for him right there. It's like.
But that's a beautiful thing. So if you can apply all of those things, you're winning.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So you had brought up before we started playing, like where we had met. We met officially at Bayfront. In Duluth. I'll never forget it because I'm gonna throw somebody under the bus.
2008,
something like that. Now, the funny thing is like I was walking with my drummer or whoever it was backstage, and we were just kind of talking. Man, apparently that was very frowned upon. If you're an artist or whatever, you're not allowed to go backstage. They thought we had jumped the fence. We got into like a lot of trouble right after that. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was nuts. It was like, but I'm just saying hi, because I had met Enrico, and
I totally remember that for sure.
Yeah, I miss that guy, and I can only imagine you, man. But Enrico, I had met him when he was doing stuff with the Derek Trucks band, and and I remember
pretty good guitar player.
Oh, that guy, whatever. It's
pretty good.
Yeah, he's all right, man.
I sing better than him.
God, that guy's insane. But I remember meeting Enrico and just kind of touching base with him again, and then there's the guy that was playing at the Little Bear, the guy that I've been listening to.
I remember because you mentioned the Little Red Corvette to me because you were from Minneapolis.
Yes, cool. Yes, man. And so there it is, and ever since then, Like, you've been such a just such a great guy. You're a good guy,
I'm all right.
Zito. You're a good guy, and I appreciate you for being a good guy.
Well,
Being that you are a good guy and you've had this interesting interesting career we're talking about today, and you came from this point of playing with Walter Trout and him calling you out, and you getting your life back together, new record, new this, new that, even on up to a Chuck Berry tribute record, which is amazing. But you also started a record company. Now, I guess what I'm hoping to find out, more like, is why the record company, and what has been your take on the music biz within the last, let's say, 10 years or 15 years or whatever it was since Today came out. How
yeah.
have things changed in the biz, and for you to go ahead and take this turn? This is interesting. Yeah.
Well, in 2007, 2008, when Today came out, okay, so, the 1990s, if you talk to any of the artists have been around that long, that's considered the heyday, of blues rock guitar. That's the heyday of Stevie Ray Vaughan and Kenny Lang, Johnny Lang, or Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and also there was just all of that was going on, and B.B. King, Albert King, Luther Allison. You got all this. There was this whole that was very popular music in the 1990s, all the way up to the end of the 1990s, coexisting next to rock and roll that was really changing with Nirvana and all that. Right. So there's all this going on here, and then there's this over here going on. And, man, I mean, I was watching all these people. Kenny Neal would come to St. Louis and, have a big sold out show, and we'd open up for him. And all I kept thinking was like, man, I want to do this. I want to do this, Well, when I finally got a chance to do that, it was not popular at all anymore. In 2007, the electric guitar wasn't even popular.
Right.
The only person coming back around with the guitar strapped on him was John Mayer. Like that, somebody that was like going to be a pop star, and he was becoming a pop star, and he had this Stratocaster.
Right.
And I mean, that was it, because all those people that had this big flourishing thing in the 90s, it was kind of done. They were still playing, but like the money and the crowds and everything just kind of changed.
Right.
So, I got in on it. I got in on it at a weird time. I got in on it at a time where the guitar was just starting to maybe get popular again because of John Mayer, but maybe not necessarily in the blues. I mean, honestly, I didn't know about that at that time. And the other thing was there was no streaming yet. Right. There was Napster a little bit, and then that was kind of all going whatever. And there was a thing called mp3.com.
I remember.
And that was how I got kind of successful on the internet. And it was like an online radio station. You could send in your MP3s, and if it got picked, and they put them on these playlists, and then whatever songs people were clicking a lot to play, those songs would rise up the playlist chart. Whatever ones got played more got up to the top. And so it would be my song, like John Mayer's song, and somebody else, but nobody knew who he was really yet. I mean, they kind of did. By 2007, they certainly did. But I'm talking like 2003, 2004.
Sure.
So, I had some success with that first record, not in the blues. They really didn't know what to do with me. I was being brought into this blues national scene that I really had no idea about whatsoever.
Right.
I mean, I just knew about St. Louis blues and that blues scene and just kind of the way I was doing things. So they didn't know what to do with me. And they were like, well, this music's not blues. But I've heard that all my life, which is fine. Probably not. But I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it.
Yeah, you're just
now, ironically, I made these records early on that every time I'd make one, they're like, man, this is country, or this isn't blues, or that's rock and roll, or whatever.
Yes.
Now those records are, oh man, they're so blues. Because everybody's making these records. I don't mean it like I started something. What I mean is the genre was changing.
Yes.
The way rock and roll changed in the 90s. And we weren't quite aware of it at the time. So it was a weird time then to be. I remember my song Today got picked up by Muzak. There was no Spotify. Right. There was no Apple Music. There was no streaming music. People started to hear that and another song called Holding Out for Love, and then Little Red Corvette. They were all bought by Muzak, and they would get played at McDonald's, Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot,
right,
grocery stores. People are like, I'm in the grocery store. They're playing your song. Oh, my God. And I was like, I don't think they're playing my song, but they had bought this Muzak subscription. Right?
Sure.
And then I started to get some checks, and I was like, oh, wow, we're going to be rich. Like, playing music, you're going to be rich. And then it all just, everything changed. Like,
yes.
Everything changed. Like, that all ended, and streaming came about. And then the music's still getting played, but the checks are gone. I used to get Muzak checks for $5,000 for a month or something. And I thought, oh, my God, never had this much money in my life,
Right.
And then just for a hot minute, it all went away. And it's been weird. So from then till now, how things have changed, the whole genre has changed. And I became more and more immersed in the blues national scene that were, look, you got people my age just starting to go see live music again.
Right.
And they grew up in the 70s and 80s. And they know blues from Stevie Ray Vaughan or from Led Zeppelin or, anything else. Anybody that asks me how I learned about blues, I have to, it would be from a Van Halen record. And you'd go, that's not blues. But that's the first time I ever heard Ice Cream Man.
I was just going to say Ice Cream Man.
Yes. And I just remember thinking I liked it. And then later I found out that it was a John Brim song that there was this man that did the original version. And I heard it. And I was like, oh, wow, that's great. Look, that's just the way it is. And so you have all these fans that are now kind of into the genre. They're coming around because they're looking for guitar because they grew up with guitar.
Yes.
And blues rock has guitar. It's the most closely related to music they grew up with.
Yes, that's a
great
way of putting it.
There's that. And then, of course, we need to keep, like blues alive. But even people that play traditional blues, certainly African-American artists, not always wanting to just play traditional music. Everybody wants to make their own music.
Yes.
Modern, contemporary blues. So, I think things change and go along. And along with that, a lot of the money went away because the whole music business changed.
Yes.
So there's a lot less money to be had in music. And I'm very fortunate. I just got in, 15, 16, 17 years ago, somewhere in there, where it's just long enough where it's like I'm kind of just dragging up the back end of the bus,
right,
of getting my ass in line. And what I run into is a lot. And look, that's the old way.
Yes.
That's the 20-year plan.
Yes.
Do this for 20 years. And so that's all different today. I don't know how to do it any other way. And I see people like Samantha Fish that, I've known since, she could barely play anything on the guitar.
Right.
And there's another way now that I'm not familiar with and I don't know about. I'm trying to learn, but it's not me, and it's not going to happen for me that way. But anyway, I'm trying to think if I'm making sense here. It all comes around to, why did I start a record label? I've learned all the things I learned sincerely doing what you do old way.
Right.
When I finally met, I heard Luther Allison. I met Joanna Connor in 1992, and she had a record out, and it said Rough on the back of it. And I bought it from her in Chicago, and I was just a kid. And I was like, what the hell is this? How did you make this CD? Like, how did you make a CD?
Right.
Okay, because you don't make CDs in 1992 on your own. You have to have like some recording company make it. And what is Rough? That's not Warner Brothers or Atlantic Records or Sony or Geffen or what is this? I mean, that's where I come from. So I come from that, and I just started to make my own CDs and send them to Alligator Records, Roof Records, Blind Pig, Malico, anybody that I could send it to. I would make my own CDs, put them in the mail, and send it to them, and try to get them to listen to it. And then go play in Chicago every chance I got, and tried to get somebody to come see me play. And I did that for a decade, just trying to get somebody to notice me. And you got to get a break. You got to
somewhere, right?
You got to get a break, and then when you do, if you're lucky enough to get a break, it's such a break that it's not to be duplicated. You can't. It's hard to go, oh, just do this and it'll happen. No, it won't. Most of the time, it will not happen.
Right.
So when you ask me why did I start a record label, the only reason was I have a partner and a friend that I've known for years that we built my recording studio. I was doing a lot of productions. He was retiring. His name is Guy Hale. He said, what are we doing? I'm retiring. So what's next? And I was like, what's next? I don't know. I'm playing a gig. Like, I play guitar. I get in a van. I drive around.
Right.
That's all I do. You want to get in the van and drive with us? You can. That's the only thing I know how to do. And I said, or we could start a record label, which would be like the worst idea in 2017 or something. Let's start a record deal. Nobody buys CDs. Nobody buys records. There's no money in music. Streaming's taken everything. And nobody wants to get in the van anymore and drive around because they're trying to do something on YouTube. Right. So it didn't make any sense, right? But the idea was, well, maybe we'll just make a couple of records a year and we'll help my people that are my friends. It was like, hey, I've learned how to make a record now after all these years, and I could probably make a record for $3,000 or $4,000. You don't have to spend $20,000 or whatever.
Yes.
And maybe we could help somebody that's always wanted to make a record but never knew how to make one, and it would just really help them out, and we could kind of help the artists. That's the only reason we started the record label. That's the only reason.
That's
so
awesome.
We just started it we thought, well, this will be fun. Maybe we can make a couple records a year. We could help write some songs. And the first person we put out was Tony Campanella, someone I've known for 30 years.
Right.
Who's just always been great and never got a chance and doesn't really know how to make a record. Has always had some songs and played lots of gigs, and it was perfect. And then Albert Castiglia's record was turned down by Ruth that I produced.
Yes. Called
Masterpiece.
Yes, I remember.
And Ruth didn't like it. He thought it sounded weird, and the production was weird, and he didn't like it. And he wanted us to re-record. He wanted Albert to re-record it again. And Albert said, no, I'm not re-recording again. And then Albert called me and said, do you think you could put that out on your, we just started this little tiny record label that we thought, well, $10,000 will be our budget this year for the whole year.
Right.
And I said, I bet I can make 3 records for that much money. That'll be our budget. Like just little tiny projects that maybe we could sell 500 CDs and get our money back. You know?
Right.
And then this happens a month later. And it was like, I mean, I believed in the record so much. I just called my partner. I was like, well, you want to buy this record? You want to see if Roof will sell us this record? And he was like, I said, but now we have to be like a real record label. And he goes, well, I've been waiting for you to say those words. Like,
wow.
He was ready. Like, oh my God, that's what I want to do. Let's go after it.
That's awesome.
I was just being this tiny thing because I was being very conservative because of all this experience all the years. Like, well, I don't know, you know, if you do something small, maybe you can get your money back.
Right. And he's looking at it like, let's do this.
Well,
let's go.
He's a big entrepreneur that owned a big, huge business that he, you know, sold and was retired. And he's had a different experience in life. So that began where we're at now, where we have, I think, 15 albums out. And that album won the Blues Music Award last year.
Yes.
And Masterpiece won the Rock Blues Album of the Year. And, you know, there's so, I mean, of course, pandemic has really, you know, put everything to an end. But we're trying to pick the pieces up again this year. And I'll be on my record label now in 2021.
Fantastic, man.
So I have a new record, and it comes out in July, and you'll be the first. This will be the first time we'll tell the world.
Sweet.
It's called Resurrection, and you'll love it. It's probably the closest thing to today since today.
I can't wait to hear it, man.
It's produced by David Z.
Oh, and he's fantastic too. And again,
Yeah.
Prince, you know, goes to.
Yeah, he did Purple Rain and Sign of the Times and all those records with him. And you know, we got back together again and made this record. And I think it's got great tunes, and it's got a more original sound again.
Good, man.
I didn't try to make a blues record or try to appeal to a particular audience. I just did what I thought I wanted to do.
I love it.
And that's where we're at. So you know, where's the music business at today? I have no idea, Ken. No clue.
It really is the great unknown, man. It really is.
I don't know. I know people keep buying CDs. I know, you know, when things get going, I mean, we've got gigs. I've got a tour next month. We've got shows. Like I said, I've been fortunate enough to be around long enough to have a fan base that's loyal, you know, that help us. You know, we don't sell millions of records, but if we put a record out, they're there to buy it. They still buy CDs. They buy vinyl. I have millions of streams that I'm very proud of. They don't pay any money, but I think it's good marketing. Sure. You know, I think when you're on those playlists on Spotify and you get lots of plays, people know about it. If we could tour those places and go show up, maybe people would come out. I don't know.
Let's hope so, man.
I really don't know how to do anything else than the way I know how to do it.
Right.
But I have watched Samantha Fish, Allie Venable. I'm very proud to have been a part of their careers early on, and I've seen them really flourish.
Yeah, they've been doing great, man.
And they're younger.
Yes.
Than me. Much younger. Allie just turned 22, so I'm her father's age, you know. And she's had a great rewarding career with like doing live stream and doing YouTube and Instagram, and she's got a huge following of people that are like really following her, and she interacts with them really well.
Yeah, she does.
And I still don't. I don't have that. I don't feel comfortable always doing it. You know, I mean, I like singing a song for us here. It's great when the people write sounds good.
Right.
It's weird to me to not be in front of people.
Right. Ah, man, I hear you.
You
I
know?
hear you. And again, it's like we've been very vigilant here. And I took my first gig in over a year. It's going to be happening in July.
Okay.
All because I'm just trying to do this right, if you will, whatever that is, but safely make sure that my
Sure,
family is
sure, of
all right
course.
and make
Yeah.
sure everybody's all right, you know? So it's been a crazy little ride, man, but I'm curious to see what happens after this. I am hoping that artists will be compensated fairly. I'm hoping that venues will be, alive and able to continue on.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the people will realize that live music really is a viable thing and it's a really good thing,
Yeah.
and hopefully they'll come on out. I'm hoping they come
Oh,
on out
I
and check
think
it out.
so. I think
Yeah.
you'd be pleasantly surprised.
I'm hoping so,
Been
my friend.
been really fortunate to be in Texas, and they're strict as well. I mean, for a long time there, all the bars were closed, all the everything was closed like everywhere else.
Right.
But maybe where I live, restaurants. I have friends that own restaurants, and they have like big patios outside.
Sure.
So then they would have these. I was lucky enough I'd get to play my instrument at least. They have jams and get-togethers, and the one thing that's been beautiful is I'm always been on the road, and so past year I've gotten to perform more for my local audience. I got to meet a lot of people and know people, and people like, well, I've always heard of you, but I've never seen you. You never play around here, and that kind of thing. And hey, man, we went and did some shows, and I mean, people are in tears, crying
Oh, wow.
that there's live music.
That's powerful.
They're hearing it. That it's. I think you're going to see a lot of that.
Let's hope so, man. We've been chatting, and I want to hear some music of
Yeah.
yours, dude. I
All
want to
right.
hear some music. Is that all
Yeah,
right
thank
with you?
you for this. It's
Hey,
wonderful
dude.
what you're doing. Proud of you. This is great. You're
Likewise,
doing
brother.
something. People love it. And
Likewise. Let's hear some music, man. I want to hear a tune of yours. Is that all right? Is that
Okay.
all right?
Yes.
All right. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is my friend, Mike Zito.
All right. Here we go. I have a guitar. I'm going to do a little ditty that was written by I did not write this song. I should tell you that. I don't want to be dishonest. But my friend Anders Osborne wrote this song, and we recorded it together on my Pearl River album. It's called One Step at a Time, and it's very dear to me. We spent some harrowing times together, me and Anders. It goes like this. I wanted so much, never worked hard enough. I was always blaming God for not being there. I thought I was the only one who never got anything done. I was hiding in anger and fear on that high and lonesome road. It's one step at a time. I trust these feet of mine to carry me on where I belong. I'm gonna lay my burden down. I lay it down on that solid ground. Maybe one day I'll know how to quiet down this crazy soul, one step at a time. I was living too hard, I was breaking everyone's heart. I was losing my friends again and again. But looking back, I wish I had known I wouldn't have to walk alone. But I got lucky, got a chance to make amends on that high and lonesome road. One step at a time, I trust these feet of mine to carry me on where I belong. I'm gonna lay my burden down. I lay it down on that solid ground. Maybe one day I'll know how to quiet down this crazy soul, one step at a time.
Man, that's a beautiful song. Wow.
Almost in tune.
Wow.
Close enough for Dylan.
Close enough for this show. Yeah. Man, that was beautiful.
Hey,
who are
it
you?
is.
Who are you listening to lately, man?
Oh, what am I listening to? Let's see. That's a good question. I'm going to literally.
Check it.
I am. I don't remember.
I love it. I love it.
I do listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
A lot. What have I been listening to lately? Well, let's see. Okay. There's some, these are just in the past week, some albums I downloaded.
Sure.
One is King Solomon, Solomon Hicks.
Yes.
I think he's really awesome. And I hadn't really listened to his record. It's called Harlem. So I've been listening to that in the morning. And when I go to gym, man, he's like so good.
Yes, he is.
Like he's got it. There's a new old recording of Government Mule live at the Cotton Club.
Oh, wow.
From 1997 that's out.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to that. I've been listening to, what's the name of the record? Where's that? John Tavius Willis.
Dude, yeah. So you're going, yeah.
Because who just told me about him? It was Albert Castilla. Well, he put a video up about a video of him and another young guy. And I'd heard his name.
Was it John Tavius, Solomon, and Kingfish?
No, it was just like two of them, but it was really good. And I was like, oh yeah, all right. I've heard his name before. I think Marquise Knox, had mentioned him. Yes. So I looked him up, and I can't find the record, but I've been listening to that one. And then this is I listen to all kinds of music, and I do like country music, although I don't listen to popular new music. Not for any reason, I just don't. If I know anything new, it's because my kids listen to it.
I'm curious about this, though. I'm totally curious about this. So you're into some podcasts, though. You're down with some
am.
Podcasts. What kind of?
But I want to tell you this country artist. Hold on.
Yes, please.
So I got in my car and I had Apple Radio on. I think my daughter was listening. It was on Americana, which is fun, great. That's awesome. And this girl Morgan Wade came on. Like this song came on, and the song was called Matches and Metaphors. And I was just driving, and I was like, what's this? And usually, I'm telling you, I'm terrible. If there's some new music and I don't know it, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I can't hear that.
Switch channel.
Like I can't listen to that. And I put Johnny Winter on, or like something like immediately that I've listened to like 1,000 times.
Right.
But this girl has a really interesting voice, and she started singing. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I thought, wow, I never listened to new music. And then I downloaded her album and I listened to it, and it's great. Morgan Wade is her name. She's she's sober, and so there's like songs about being sober, and I think that's probably what kind of caught me. And then she has it's not top 40 pop country at all. I mean, It's not at all, but it's new music,
Sure.
So. Now, podcast.
Yes, sir.
What do I listen to?
Yeah, I'm curious. 'Cause I've
Stuff
never-
you should know
Yes.
religiously,
Yes.
like a total dork.
Love it.
And like almost every day, like a nerd.
Right.
Josh and Chuck. I've probably listened to several episodes more than once. It's my first suggestion, but I like to learn stuff, and I like learning about things. I didn't do good in school, so I didn't go. I barely got out of high school. I love learning about and I like that it runs the gamut of information,
Sure.
and they're fun. If you've never listened to it, they're super fun. So stuff you should know is number one.
Love it.
Podcast. And then I listen to Mark Maron, WTF.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. There's a couple others. Honestly, that's probably it.
That's awesome, though. It's always good to
It's
find-
not very varied.
No, man, but it's I'm looking forward to getting back out on the road. And one of the things that I used to love to do when touring is throw on a podcast.
Yeah.
God, man. Yeah.
That's why I like Josh and Chuck, because it's not the same thing. Every
Right.
episode is going to be like, it's about gophers. And then the next one's about, some murder mystery that happened 20 years ago. And then the next one's going to be about a disease. Like, it's never the same thing. So it's always entertaining. To me.
Fantastic, man. Last but not least, man, like, you gotta skedaddle, man. You gotta go.
I'm getting a visitor.
Oh, I see. We always ask this one here. You're on the road a lot, and when you're on the road a lot, what are your favorite places to eat? If you had
oh my gosh, it's such a chore always. Okay, look, I'm going to be honest, and I don't know if some people like this or not, but Chick-fil-A is probably like at the top of the list of where we go in the van.
In the van. But I mean, if you're like out in the, like, that you're going to be going into,
Oh yeah,
Phoenix,
you mean
and you're like, I gotta go stop at.
Oh well, yeah, we do all that. If we go to St. Louis, we're gonna get Emo's Pizza, which is like a thing, and if we have time, we're gonna go to Favaz's restaurant on the hill.
Sure.
If I'm going to Chicago, we're gonna go to Lou Malnati's and try to get a pizza.
There you go.
For like absolutely for sure. There's usually. We try to do that. Usually places, I don't know them all, but if we're going to Memphis, we're gonna find Gus's Chicken.
Yes.
And go get some hot chicken.
Yes.
Those are definitely all my favorite. And because I grew up in St. Louis, Emo's Pizza is such a thing. It's not like any other pizza. Like I always want an Emo's Pizza. In fact, I want one now.
That's awesome.
We brought it up.
And last question for you, my friend. What are your 3 desert island records?
Lyle Lovett, live in Texas.
Wow, right.
Muddy Waters, the one with Johnny Winter, Hard Again.
Yes.
And probably 1984.
I love it. Brother, if you can, I'd love one more tune from you.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
We can call it a day, man. All right, everybody, this is Mike Zito.
Thank you, Ken. It's been great, man. I appreciate you having me. I appreciate your kindness. All right, one more song. I'm getting called by children. This is a song I did write. It's called Gone to Texas. Gone to Texas, baby. Got this guitar by my side. I've gone to Texas, baby. Got this guitar by my side. I'm gonna find me a woman. You know I'm gonna make her mine. I'm gone to Texas, baby. I'm gonna start my life again. Gone to Texas, babe. I'm gonna start my life again. I'm gonna get down in the Lone Star. I'm gonna wash away my sins. Just like Travis come before me, down to the Gulf of Mexico. New Spain's gonna pardon my horizon, will save my soul. Gone to Texas, baby. My eyes have seen the glory, one step at a time. My eyes have seen the glory, babe. I said one step at a time. I found hope in redemption, and the sky's big as God. I'm gone to Texas, got this guitar by my side. I've gone to Texas, baby, got this guitar by my side. Lord, I found me a woman, and you know I made her mine. I made her mine, baby. I've gone to Texas, baby. I've gone to Texas, baby. One step at a time. One step at a time.
Buddy.
It was a little wimpy there at the end, but I played an arpeggio.
Yes. Where can people find you?
Yeah, man. MikeZito.com, GulfCoastRecords.net. On Facebook. And I'm on there. It's Mike Zito Music on Facebook. Zito Rocks on Instagram, ROX, to stick with the 80s. That's right.
Yeah, man.
And I'm easy to find, man. And album coming out in the middle of July. And shows, and maybe we'll get through this thing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you,
The
Ken.
world of you, brother. And
It's great.
Yeah, I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Everybody, this is Mike Zito. Go find him. Go get his music. Go see him live. He's one of the good guys for sure. Thank you, my brother. Be good to each other. Take care of one another. We'll see you later. Bye.